Welcome back. We're here at Mascoma Savings Bank at their New London branch, and joining me now is Jim Giller. He is part of their mortgage origination team. Welcome.
Hi, Lynn. How are you?
Very well. Thanks for hosting, and thanks for giving us some of your time and expertise today.
You bet.
So when someone is looking to buy a home, what's the first thing they should do?
Well, there's a number of things they should do. One is, if you're looking for a home, one of the things I'd recommend is talk to your neighbors, friends. Try to find somebody that you think that you can work with in terms of looking for a home. Mm-hmm. So, there's also the for sale by owner, and people can go that approach as well. But probably one of the most important things to do is to get pre-qualified. Mm-hmm. And that's really an important step. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is, if you're going to work with a realtor, they want to know that you've been pre-qualified. Okay? Because a couple of things. One, they want to make sure that you can get financing. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is, they need to make sure that they're looking at the right homes for you in your price range.
Sure.
Okay? So that's really important. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is, it's a fairly easy process. So, what we find is that for most people, it can take anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes to fill out an online application. Mm-hmm. And when you go through that process, they'll basically be asking, the application will be asking, just for stated income, how much money do you make a year? How much money do you make a month? What are some of your other obligations and such? And so that, you fill that out, and that is, it'll go through a processing system. And sometimes an actual pre-approval letter will be generated from that. But if there's still some questions that need to be answered, one of us will follow up. Mm-hmm. So really, it's a very simple process and a really important process. So that's particularly true for first-time home buyers, mm-hmm. because so many times people, when I'll talk with somebody and they're looking for their first home, they really don't have a good understanding mm-hmm. as to how much money do I need to put down.
Right.
What about closing cost? What about different loan programs? Mm-hmm. How much can I afford? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of different elements, but by taking those first steps, mm-hmm. it can really help you out to make sure that you're directed in terms of looking for the right home, the right price range, and all those kinds of things. So anyway, that's one thing that we think that's really important
and
for
people. And the 15 to 20 minutes, that's nothing. And you do
it
all online.
No, it really isn't. And so what happens is then, what somebody would receive is it's a document. It's called a good faith estimate, but it basically sort of outlines, these are the costs that you would incur.
Yes.
And it also has another document. It's a required document called a truth in lending disclosure. Mm-hmm. So again, it's all about transparency, people really understanding what they're getting themselves into, so there's no surprises.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then from there, if somebody says, well, okay, I want to take the next step, then what would happen is basically a letter would go to them that says, okay, in order for us to consider your application, these are the various things that we would need from you mm-hmm. to approve you.
Mm-hmm. Real paperwork, pay stubs,
yeah,
things like that.
That's actually if they decided to move forward with a transaction. But just on the pre-approval side, it's basically just stated information. Yeah. So anyway, again, coming back to going through that process is a really good one if you're starting to look for a home.
Yeah, well, Mascoma's got some great programs. Tell us about some of those.
Oh yeah, so a lot of different kinds of programs, but one of them is, again, people are somewhat concerned about rising interest rates right now. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that we can do is we have a program, it's called the Lock mm-hmm. and Shop, okay? Mm-hmm. So if you were looking for a home, and you said, geez, I'm concerned about where rates are headed, mm-hmm. okay?
Because it might take you a year to find your home.
Could, mm-hmm. but what we'll do is, tied to that pre-approval, is we'll do the Lock and Shop, mm-hmm. all right? And that's good for 120 days. So for any of our, what I refer to as portfolio loans, loans which are held by the bank, we'll lock somebody's rate for 120 days mm-hmm. at no cost.
That's great.
So it's a really, really mm-hmm. good program. So, so Lock and Shop is one. Mm-hmm. Another program, and this has been kind of interesting, there's been a lot of activity recently about construction. And for, since the downturn in '07 and '08, people could really buy a home for less money than they could build. But now things
Sure.
are starting to come back a little bit.
Yes.
But with the one-step program, the thing that's nice is in a traditional construction loan, you would have 1 year of financing, and then you've got to go find your permanent financing at the end of the construction phase. So we've actually have a product that ties the construction phase with the permanent financing all in one.
Okay,
So that
that's easy.
so that people don't have to go through 2 closings, and they can tie in today's low rates,
Yeah.
plus not have to worry about going through a second closing and paying more money.
That's great. So the best way to get more information is through the great Mascoma Savings Bank website, or give you a call directly here at the bank.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks so
Lynn.
much.
Yeah.
When we return, Sean will introduce us to another interesting neighbor from the Warner area. Stay tuned.